Hey everybody, it is Callus with my first non-permasand invitational content in, I don't even know, months. It's been a while, and I'm excited to bring this to you. This is a very worthy break. We are going to check out the finals of the ADV Summer Seasonal. This is very, very deep. I don't even know how many rounds this is. 12, 13 rounds, something ridiculous. Very, very deep in this tour. And I'm not surprised to see these players here. You guys might not be as familiar with these players, but those who are very involved in the ADV circuit are probably familiar with these guys because these are two of the best up and comers in the game today. They will both very likely, pending some drastic blow up or cheating scandal or whatever between now and then, both of these guys will likely be involved in Callus Invitational 5 in some capacity. But we have Watermess, who is from England, and he was one of the staff members and narrators, as you guys may recall, for Callus Invitational 4. He was already good and showing promise, but he's only gotten better and better and better since that time, and is now really a player to watch out for. And on the other end, we have Endill, another one, just a hard-working player who was already good and showing flashes of becoming good, but has now gotten really good. And all of a sudden, we have these two guys who approach ADV with a new mindset from all us old crusty guys. They build differently, they approach it differently, and it really, really shows. I'm not surprised to see two newer players here, and I'm very excited to see who wins. But I'm very happy for both of these nice guys. Unfortunately, there can only be one champion. So this is a best of three, and here is their set. Like I said, this is the finals of the ADV Summer Seasonal. So we're going to have Watermess on the bottom and Endill on the top. Game one in their best of three. They both lead meta, and neither one is happy with the matchup. Skarm and Zapdos is what we end up with. Obviously, Zapdos with the advantage there, and it's a straight T-Bolt blanking on a Swampert, and now it's going to hit a Bliss. So we have a standard Skarm Bliss of sorts for Watermess, though both Metagross and Swampert, they're not always together. That kind of makes you think that the rest of the team is something along the lines of just standard, say, T-Tar X, whether X is Gengar, Dugtrio, whatever it may be, Aerodactyl possibly. And we're looking at probably a balanced offense or a mini BP chain for Endill. He might have some CM or sub BP action going on. He very well may have something like a Lax or a Magneton or both in the back. Well, there is the Magneton. It's whirlwinded out. But I mean, yeah, when I see Celebi Zap, I immediately think Magneton because you want to BP to it. Whether or not you are BPing subs and combines, whatever, is a different story, but lead meta makes me think that it's closer to physical. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if there were things like Lax, Salamence, Gyarados, Aerodactyl, DD-Tar, whatever it may be, just physical threats as the last two pokes for Endill. Toxicure landing on Swampert, however, gets immediately refreshed away, and we do see that he overpredicted and went for Thunderbolt. I don't know if he had the option for HP Grass or not, but he didn't go for it. Either way, Watermess whirlwinding out the Magneton, obviously not ideal, and that's going to put him down a poke pretty early. But he did at least get the one layer spikes down, and I guess it's still possible that Endill has a spinner, but I don't know. What would the team be then? Like, Starmie Lax, I guess? I don't know. I don't think that, for my taste, that doesn't have enough punch. Doesn't, I mean, what's the win condition? Just Lax, basically? And there is a Lax, as we see here. But I don't know. I mean, the last folk could be Starmie, but I really don't think so. I think it's more likely to be something like Salamence would be my first guess, but it could be a Gyarados or a DD Tower would also make sense in my mind. I guess it could also, in theory, be a Pursuit Tower if it's an Earthquake Lax. But either way, we'll see it when we see it. There's a hidden power and there's a dead Magneton, so we've got ourselves a pretty quick 5-5. And Zapdos has repeatedly actually switched out of the Swampert. We've only seen Thunderbolt and Toxic, but maybe it really truly doesn't have HP Grass. I mean, he's had a couple opportunities to do it, and he just hasn't. So maybe he really truly does not have it. There's a Leech Seed blanking. I mean, not that Claydol would have cared. Out of the way he goes. Here's Zapdos, and now Earthquake blanks. So there's been a lot of either misses or just doing a whole lot of nothing. Here's going to be another opportunity because Swampert has not been afraid this whole time of the Zapdos. Yeah, he wasn't afraid there either. So like HP Grass would have rocked his world, but Endill must not have it, and Watermess must know that he doesn't have it, because it's been 3 separate opportunities, even though Zapdos has not shown hidden power in any way. He's only shown 2 moves, Thunderbolt and Toxic. But he, I guess, doesn't have HP Grass, and somehow Watermess telepathically knows that he doesn't have HP Grass. There's a Toxic Miss on Salamence, which... Well, Blissey hasn't shown a single move, so we don't know if she has Bell or not. I would think that with the refresh pert, the Bliss probably does not have Bell, so I think that Toxic Miss on the Salamence actually did matter, and it probably would have stayed had it connected, but we'll see. What we do know is that we have lefties and Fire Blast, so it's very likely simply a mixed Mence. Fire Blast used to be a thing on the old Choice Band sets, but not only is that not popular anymore, but we also know that it's not a Choice Bander, so Fire Blast plus lefties almost always just means it's a mixed Mence, but I suppose we'll see. And Celebi just going to recover on the Protect turn for lack of anything better to do. Surprisingly, neither player has opted to bring Tyranitar in this crucial Game 1 of their set, though it could be Last Poke T-Tower for Endill, I suppose. He's going to go for HP Grass against Claydol, so full team for Watermess is revealed as it has been for a little bit. And we end up here with the lead meta, which we know has lefties, and I guess we haven't seen Protect, but I'm assuming it is a bulky Protect variant. There's no bulky water inside. Maybe the last for Endill is just Swampert. That totally could be. But again, I just think it lacks punch that way. I think it has to be something physical. So I'm thinking, like I said, I think it's a Protect bulky meta for Endill, and I think it's Last Poke again, Salamence, Gyarados, Tar, something along those lines. There's Meteor Mash, and there is the Surf coming back from the Mono Pert from Watermess, a BKC favorite set. At least it was a little while back. I don't know if it still is. Protect and Surf again, so it is in fact a bulky meta. Oh, he's going to land a crit, though. That is unfortunate for Watermess. Obviously, he survives there without a crit, so that sucked. And now we are moving to a 5-4 situation favoring Endill. He's going to Protect here to gain lefties and also blow a Fire Blast PP, which does matter because it only has 8 of those to begin with, which might be part of the reason that he went to Zapdos there because it would have cost him 2 PP. But great pivoting from Endill. He's actually going to bait out the explosion there, and Watermess is going to blow onto the Metagross, which is obviously not what he was intending to hit. So Endill with the outplay there, forcing a bad explosion and pivoting around it. And that's going to leave Endill in what seems to be a pretty good position, a 5-3 lead. Thunderbolt coming down on Bliss. The Lax is definitely a threat at this point. I'm not sure what the win con is for Watermess. The Salamence, I mean, maybe, but if the Zapdos doesn't have HP Grass, does that therefore mean he has HP Ice and the Salamence does not win? Especially when Mixed Men's almost always runs minus Special Defense Nature because it has to. Therefore, HP Ice will absolutely kill it. There's a BS opportunity for Watermess. He finds a freeze, which is some kind of BS, but what he really wanted there is a crit to kill the Celebi. Leech Seed ticking out of the way. Here's a Zapper, and here's the meta, which Psychic Hidden Power, probably just Meteor Mash and Boom as the last 2 moves, but sometimes it does have Pursuit. It is possible that we're looking at a non-Boom Metagross from Watermess, but I think it probably has Boom. And there is the Bliss getting out of the way. She's just shown Ice Beam Soft Boiled, so it doesn't really tell us a lot. Meteor Mash happening here, Body Slam happening back. Not too much threat for either guy, because like even if Watermess, yeah, I was gonna say even if Watermess blows up, I mean that's fine, right? Because Endill's so far ahead that he doesn't care. But no, he's actually going to be the one to blow up. Endill's just going to self-destruct and take the trade. So obviously Lax is not as intended win condition, since it's not even a Rest Lax, it's just a Boomer. So that's going to further my theory that the last poke from Endill must be a physical win condition, whether DD Mence or DD Gyra are my leading guesses. There's another Boom, and that's going to leave only Salamence, and I think we're looking at an HP Ice here, since he clearly doesn't have HP Grass. Or not, out of the way he goes. And there's Dragon Claw on Celebi. Now do we see the last poke? Nope, we just go back to Zap. So we did that just to gain lefties. Dragon Claw not even close, and apparently we don't have HPI. So what the hell are the last 2 moves? Is it like Sub Pass or Wave Pass or rest, maybe? I don't know what the hell it is, but apparently Zapdos just doesn't have hidden power grass or ice. There's just no hidden power at all. Don't know. Interesting game. And we never actually did get to see the last poke for Endill. Like I said, Salamence or Gyro would be my guess. Could be a Tar. But I'm thinking DD Mence or DD Gyro would be my guess. But the world will never know unless he decides to chip in the comments and tell us what it was. Either way, Endill is going to take game one, and he's going to be one game away from being the champion of the ADV Summer Seasonal Watermess here. Perfectly capable of rallying off 2 games in a row, but first he has to win game two before we start thinking about game three. So why don't we check that out? Here's the second game. And we'll switch those sides for continuity. Watermess on the bottom and Endill on the top. This time they both have T-Tar leads. They both had Metagross leads before, and they decided to copy each other again. But the turn 2 shows us different things. Bunch of switching. They both opted for Scarm Tower this time. We know at least Endill has a Rapid Spinner, and he goes straight for the Thunderbolt to keep the pressure on the Scarm. You're going to spike up, you're going to take damage. Simple as that. Pulls it back to his own Scarm, gets it in on Bliss. Good pivoting again from Endill. This is going to give him a Spikes advantage. And the only punishment is a Seismic Toss. No Flamethrower or Fire Blast here, so a solid turn for Endill. Opposing Scarm comes in. That's going to get immediately taunted here, so that will not be able to spike up. Again, a solid turn from Endill. And he's going to go for Roar here. I don't know if I personally would have roared. I think I might have spiked, but I think the Roar is fine. Either way, good play here from Endill throughout the series, but certainly in this early game is really getting ahead of Watermess by simply outplaying him. And he's got the 2-spike advantage here. 5 pokes have been seen by Watermess. None of them are a Rapid Spinner, though it absolutely could still be last Claydol or last Starmie. But right now that isn't seen, and right now Endill has the advantage. That being said, Watermess does establish his own layer of spikes here, and likewise, as is the case in reverse, Endill does not have Fire Blast or Flamethrower, it seems. The only thing he can do to the Scarm is Seismic Toss, which is totally fine. Obviously, you're going to establish spikes if that's the only thing happening on the other end. So now they both have 2 layers. The catch, of course, being that Endill does have the Rapid Spinner confirmed. Haven't actually seen Spin, but it's going to have Spin. The Starmie. We do know, however, there's a Ghost on the other side, so depending on what kind of Starmie it is, maybe the Gengar's a big issue for it, and it won't be able to break through. That's yet to be determined. Either way, we have a Scarm Bliss mirror match here, which, I mean, are you surprised, really, to see this in a tournament situation with a championship on the line? People do tend to not get cute in these situations and default to standard boring things that they know work, and this certainly is the definition of that. Metagross comes in on a Toxic, not a problem. There's Psychic, nails the Swampert. 36% is a lot, but it's not enough to kill him on the next one. But he totally could have HP Grass here. He's shown only Psychic, so that tells us a little bit, but doesn't rule out HP Grass or HP Fire. He does not appear to have HP Grass. He's repeatedly hit Psychic. Earthquake's going to do a lot here, but nevertheless, out of the way. And it's going to be Psychic whiffing on Tyranitar. Endill not able to predict that and get a Meteor Mash off. And he's going to be outsped and killed by the Tyranitar. So even though Endill had a great early game, Watermess going to make a big comeback here. Now the Claydol going to come up short of the kill as well and have to eat an Ice Beam in exchange. And it's a failed Rapid Spin here for Endill. So a lot of good things now for Watermess getting his own share of outplays in. And he's going to block the Rapid Spin. So Endill now is behind. Watermess, who did not have the best early game, has started to make several plays himself and outplay his opponent and earn his way back into this game. And it's interesting that it's a Claydol, which of course, I mean, every Claydol has Rapid Spin. Every single one. There is no Claydol without Rapid Spin. So it makes me think it's either Double Spinner, which, I mean, is weird but not unheard of, or more likely just a flat-out offensive star from Endill. It might just not have Rapid Spin at all. It might legit just be Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Psychic, Hydro Pump. We've only seen Thunderbolt, but that totally could just be an off-star for Endill. Here comes Bliss from Watermess. And there's Seismic Toss. Both players dealing with 3 layers of spikes right now. One of them has a confirmed Rapid Spinner. Watermess, we still don't know the last poke, though this team looks very standard. Dugtrio, Aerodactyl. I mean, there's only a handful of things that it's just ever going to be in that spot. This is bog standard so far. It could also be his own Starmie for Watermess. which could really be an issue depending on what. I mean, if the Blissey goes down for Endill, then the Gengar Starmie combo from Watermess could be a real problem. But if it's an off star from Endill, his star could be a real issue as well because it can outspeed and possibly one hit KO the opposing Gengar with a Psychic. So there is Will-O-Wisp, misses initially. It's going to connect on the second one. We have a Wish here. Let's see who needs it. T-Tar's full, Skarm at 70. Well, it doesn't matter. She's going to keep it for herself. But the answer is nobody really needs it. Maybe the Claydol, 60% could use it. Wow there is going to... it's going to be Wow Taunt now. Ice Beam. Yeah, he's just going to try to keep the pressure on the Bliss, possibly setting up a last poke to try to sweep. There's Swampert, which is going to deny any kind of recovery attempt, and there is the last poke Aerodactyl here. Rock Slide missing, obviously not where he wants to be, and there's an Ice Beam retaliation. At least it doesn't crit or freeze, but the miss obviously sucks, and now Watermess is going to have to get lucky. And he does not. He's going to get the Rock Slide off, but it does not crit or flinch. Ice Beam there will get the knockout. Watermess, with his usual temper, is less than thrilled in the log, which, and no comment, but come on, man. And we are now down to a 4-3 situation, quickly turning around for Endill here after a string of bad luck for Watermess. Starmie going to appear. And that's a failed protect for Watermess. Would have been a good turn to roar him out, but when you're behind, you have to be perfect, and he's not able to make the prediction. Here comes Bliss. Thunderbolt is interesting. I'm surprised he doesn't go Hydro Pump there. Maybe he truly doesn't have it. Maybe it is just a T-Bolt Surf Rapid Spin Recover variant. That seems unusual to pair with a Claydol, but stranger things have happened. Double Spin does exist. Here's Drill Peck for lack of anything better to do. Seismic Toss coming down. We've got ourselves a 4-3, and it looks like Endill has made the comeback, especially after the Aerodactyl did not work out the way Watermess wanted it to. Gengar going to sneak in on Drill Peck. It's going to take 35, but survive. Fire Punch comes up short, does not find a crit or a burn that he would have loved. And that's going to leave Watermess with only Skarm Bliss, which is a wonderful combo, but not so great at finishing games. Taunt is going to deny Soft-Boiled. Seismic Toss obliges. Skarm goes down. Leaves us in a 3-2 situation. Watermess hanging on by a thread. Earthquake short. Ice Beam, Desperation, Freeze Fish. Does not find it. And I think Watermess is in trouble. Endill won the first game. If he wins here, he's the champ. Only Skarm at 14%. He's going to have to dodge a lot of rock slides, and he is going to concede. He's less than thrilled, but so it goes. And Endill is going to be the champion of the Summer Seasonal. That's awesome. Like I said, I'm happy for both of these guys. Both big up-and-comers, both guys that are going to be making a splash in the future of ADV. This is the big breakthrough win for Endill. Maybe it'll get him noticed by some of the SPL managers. Maybe somebody will pick him up after this great run. He's going to be the champ 2-0 here in the finals. Congrats to him. I hope that you guys, the viewers, enjoyed this and just a little break from the monotony and repetition of Permasand Invitational. Don't worry, everything's totally fine with that tournament. Still going on, yada yada. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a break. So I will bring you more Permasand Invitational when that picks up, and then all the championships on Pokemon Perfect are going on, so you'll definitely see coverage of some of those. And then, yeah, basically once all that wraps up, we'll be in and around SPL time, and the magic question of will we be selected this year to get to manage or not will be answered, and we'll go from there. Obviously, I'm hoping we get picked, but who knows? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did, and I will see you guys probably with more Permasand Invitational content coming up next time.